Hi, I'm back. And I shared with you that I was going to share the scoop on ice cream. This is a great series of books, history of fun stuff. There's one on pizza, there's one on video games, there's one on different holidays, there's one on fireworks. And this one's titled The Scoop on Ice Cream. It's a little bit longer. It actually has chapters in it. It has a table of contents. The origins means where did it come from? Almost modern history, and the scoops on scoops, along with ice cream today. This book was published in 2014, and it starts like this. Chapter 1, The Origins of Ice Cream. You know lots of things about ice cream, right? You know it's delicious, and you know your favorite flavor, like I shared with you in the other screen. You also know that ice cream comes in cups or cones and that you eat it with a spoon or just lick it right off the scoop. But what do you know about the history of ice cream? Do you know who invented it and when? Or which United States presidents loved ice cream? Do you know the answers to any of those other than your favorite flavor? Today, if you have a hankering for ice cream, it's easy enough to find some. You just buy it at the supermarket or go to your favorite ice cream parlor and order a scoop or two. But did you know it wasn't always so easy to satisfy your craving? And do you know where those scoops came from or how they were made? That's where this book comes in. By the time you finish reading this book or listening, you'll know the answers to the questions and many more. You will be a history of fun stuff expert on ice cream. The history of ice cream is not an easy one to piece together. Sometimes it seems about as clear as a bowl of ice cream soup and just as messy. What historians do know for sure is that frozen treats have been enjoyed for at least 2,000 years. I don't know if I knew that. In ancient times, snow and ice were combined with flavors like honey, fruit, and juice. Nero, a Roman emperor who ruled ancient Italy from the year 54 to the year 68, would make his slaves run up high into the mountains for ice. When the slaves returned, they added fruit and juice to the ice to make something we'd recognize today as a slushy or Italian ice. I do like that. Strawberry is my favorite flavor of that. The Chinese were probably the first to mix ice and snow with milk, making a creamy dish that more closely resembles ice cream we know and love today. There's a record of frozen dairy treats made of milk, flour, and camphor as back as the Tang Dynasty that began in the year 618 and ended in 907. Camphor is a substance that comes from the camphor tree. It's a very strong smell. Today, it's used in insect repellent, mothballs, and helps with cold. Don't eat any of those. You know, it's almost like strong. You ever have mom or dad or a big person at home put the Vicks vapor rub on your chest if you have a cold? It's kind of like a menthol kind of smell. It took centuries for ice cream to make its way from China to Europe. There are many legends about how it did so. One of the most famous involves a man you may already heard of, Marco Polo. In the 1200s, he traveled from Italy to China. Some say that he returned with recipes for ice cream, but there's no evidence to support this. Regardless, by the 1600s, ice cream was enjoyed throughout Europe, and later in the century, it was served in the royal court of England. Not long after this, ice cream arrived in the American colonies. Chapter 2, Almost Modern History. Ice cream has been part of the American way of life since the beginning, even before the Declaration of Independence was signed in 1776. When the states were still colonies of England, the rich would serve ice cream at parties and other events. One night in 1744, the governor of Maryland served ice cream after dinner. We know about this because one of his guests was so amazed by the dessert that he wrote about it in a letter. This is the oldest record of ice cream in America. Sometimes that's how we learn about history. People write it down in diaries or letters. Our founding fathers and mothers had a real sweet tooth for ice cream. In 1790, George Washington was a year into being the first president of the United States. That summer, he and his wife Martha spent $200 on ice cream. That's a lot of money. Even more when you think about it would be worth more today. Unfortunately, it's hard to calculate the value of money from that far back, but we know that $200 back then was worth almost $5,000 today. How much ice cream would you buy with that much money? Another founding father and the third president of the United States, Thomas Jefferson, is known for having done many things. He wrote the Declaration of Independence and started his own university, the University of Virginia. But did you know he also loved ice cream? He kept a recipe for vanilla ice cream written in his own handwriting. He discovered the recipe in France, where he was an ambassador before he became president. When he returned to the United States, he would serve ice cream at his parties. If you'd been seated at Thomas Jefferson's table, there was a good chance you would have enjoyed ice cream. In the mid-1800s, making ice cream was hard work, and it took hours to be done by hand. Then, in 1843, a woman named Nancy Johnson, I wonder if we're related, patented the first ice cream maker that made the work a bit easier. Here's how it worked. You start with 2 cans, one smaller, one larger. In the smaller can, you would add ice cream ingredients like milk and sugar and your flavor. Then you would add ice and salt to the large one and put the small one inside. My mom has a very old ice cream maker, and I wish I would have thought about it to bring. It's wooden, and there's on the outside, and then in the middle, there's a metal canister. So in the middle can, you'd put the ingredients, and then you would set it inside the big one and put ice and salt around the outside. And then, let's see if it tells us. Yeah, the next you'd use a crank to churn the ingredients. This made it smooth and creamy, while the ice in the larger can froze it. So you would turn and turn and turn, and the ice would get the middle can nice and cold. Just like if you've ever made butter and shake it and shake it and shake it, eventually it get a little bit harder. After about 20 to 45 minutes of cranking, you could have ice cream. Sounds like fun. If you want to make ice cream the old-fashioned way, there are companies that still sell ice cream based on her original design. Oh, I wish I would have thought to bring that. Because of Nancy Johnson's invention, more people were able to experience the joy of eating ice cream. Another turning point came a few years later, in 1851, when a man named Jacob Fussell opened the first factory. As you might expect, his business boomed and he opened other ones. For the first time, ice cream was being made on a big scale. That means a lot at a time, not just a little. To this day, Jacob Fussell is known as the father of the ice cream industry. Chapter 3, the scoop on scoops. With ice cream available to everyone, the stage was now set for classic ice cream dishes. And speaking of it, you might not believe it, but there was a time when the ice cream cone did not exist. It's hard to pinpoint who exactly invented the ice cream cone. The best evidence shows that there were a number of people who independently came up with the idea of eating ice cream out of edible cones. However, they weren't popular until 1904 at the St. Louis World's Fair, when many people sold them. After that, there was no turning back, and the ice cream cone was here to stay. Do you prefer your ice cream in a bowl or in a cone? Depends what I'm having. I usually like a cone, though. What about ice cream sundaes? Like the invention of the ice cream cone? It's not really sure. Some believe it was invented in 1881 in Wisconsin when chocolate sauce was drizzled on top of scoops of ice cream. Others say it was 1892 in New York when cherry syrup and a cherry were added. In both stories, it was named after the day, Sunday, on which it was either invented or most usually served. Today, there's a friendly rivalry, like a friendly fight between Ithaca and Wisconsin as to the true place it was invented. Do you like ice cream sundaes? Do you like different kinds like fruit sauce, or do you like caramel, or do you like hot fudge? I like everything. I like hot fudge, and I like whipped cream, and I like a cherry, and I like the little peanuts on top. Mr. Johnson just likes the hot fudge. Last but not least, what about ice cream novelties? No frozen section of a grocery store would be complete without ice cream sandwiches, pops, and bars. How and when did they come about? The first ice cream novelty was ice cream covered in a chocolate shell, known as an Eskimo pie. It was invented in 1920 by a high school teacher who also sold ice cream. He got inspired by an 8-year-old customer who couldn't decide between buying a chocolate bar or an ice cream. Since both are delicious, he came up with an idea to combine them. Chapter 4, Ice Cream Today. As you know, you can find ice cream everywhere these days. It's so much a part of our culture that when immigrants arrived on Ellis Island, they were served ice cream. Today, almost 10% of milk production in the United States goes into making ice cream. The ice cream companies make a profit of $10 billion a year. Profit is mean how much extra money they make after they pay all of their bills. How does the ice cream industry make so much money? It's because we love ice cream. The average American eats about 80 cups a year, depending on the size of your scoops. Ice cream has been so popular that in 1984, Ronald Reagan, the 40th president of the United States, named July as National Ice Cream Month. Every year, National Ice Cream Day is the third Sunday of July. You'll have to remember that this summer and celebrate with ice cream on the third Sunday of July. Do you know what the most popular flavor of ice cream is in the United States? What do you think? The answer probably won't surprise you. It's vanilla, followed by chocolate. Combined, they make up half of all ice cream sales. What do you prefer? Do you have another favorite flavor? Do you know what flavor your best friend loves? Mr. Johnson loves death by chocolate. Anything chocolate, chocolate, chocolate. As you can probably imagine, ice cream isn't just popular in the United States. People in other countries love ice cream too. But what are some favorite flavors? In Japan, there's an ice cream made with squid ink. And you can find ice cream topped with caviar. Do you know what that is? Fish eggs in France. But not to be outdone, the United States also makes its share of unique flavors. You can find pizza-flavored ice cream, bacon-flavored ice cream, and even garlic-flavored ice cream. Would you eat those? Can you think of other flavors that you've never heard of? I wonder if there's a dill pickle one. Blech, I like pickles, but I don't think I'd like it with that. Congratulations! You've come to the end of the book. You are now an official History of Fun Stuff expert on ice cream. Go ahead, impress your friends with the cool things you know. The next time, take a lick off of your scoop, you'll think about all of the history. There you go. You're an expert on ice cream history. Ice cream around the world. Oh, I am going to share this. In Argentina, it's called dulce de leche, a smooth and tasty dessert. It means caramel in Spanish. In France, caviar ice cream. You can try caviar ice cream made with real caviar, known as fish eggs. Oof. In Germany, apple strudel. Strudel is a flaky pastry with a creamy flavor that's traditional in Germany. Israel, cardamom, a common ingredient in recipes. It's a strong spice. They put that in ice cream. Squid ink ice cream in Japan. A squid is a marine animal similar to an octopus that has a long head and 2 tentacles. Squid ink is used in pasta dishes, but if you travel to Japan, you can try it in ice cream. We hear it's salty. New Zealand Hokey Pokey ice cream. Hokey Pokey ice cream consists of vanilla ice cream with pieces of honeycomb toffee. Ooh, I'd try that. Philippines cheese ice cream. You'll find chunks of cheddar cheese in ice cream. I might try it. I don't know if I'd like it. Singapore chili pepper. Spicy ice cream comes from Singapore, where hot chili peppers are blended with tomato-based ice cream. Ooh, where would you go? Wow. They do give some science information in the back, but I'll see if I can find a recipe for ice cream that I'll post after that. I would like you to be thinking about some ice cream flavors that you would invent or that you would try, because that's something that I'm going to add to the slideshows in the coming weeks. I hope your week is super and awesome and fantastic, just like you. Maybe you'll enjoy some ice cream this weekend. Have a great day.